Hey everyone. So I'm finally making this video. It wasn't that I was anticipating doing it because I love YouTube and I always want to share my life with you guys because I do feel like it helps others and it does help me from the amazing people I met through YouTube. And it's just such a great community to help out. So I just been trying to find enough strength really to make this video, and everybody's sleeping and I feel like, I can build myself up to make it through this video and be okay. So if you're following me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, you already know what had happened. If you're new to my channel and you are not knowing what's happening, basically my last video I did was 22 weeks pregnant, I believe, with my twins. And I was going to go on to my I was on my 23 weeks and I was going to do that video. And July 3rd, I was with Carmine and Carson, my two boys, and I was making them some chicken nuggets for lunch. And all of a sudden, I started feeling pressure and pain. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been feeling pressure because I have twins. It's always been feeling different, this pregnancy. But as time progressed, I noticed that something was wrong. And the pain increased and the pressure increased, and I went to use the bathroom and a whole bunch of fluid came out. And I know with Carson that my water had just broke. Like, I know the same experience I have with Carson, and my water broke, and I honestly didn't know what to do. I called Renzo and I told him, which is my husband, and I told him, you have to have your mother come over or something to watch the kids. I'm going to call 911. I started bleeding a little bit, and the ambulance felt like they took forever to get here. I'm pretty sure, they got here in the right amount of time, but when you're going through something like this, it feels like time is just in slow motion. Literally, the whole time in the ambulance, on the way to the hospital, it just feels like someone is taking your time and putting it in slow mode, like the whole time. And you just want to be like, just like speed things up, get to the hospital. I want to make sure I'm okay. They were talking about trying to give me medicine once I got to the hospital to stop the labor. But when I got to the hospital and I was in the labor and delivery room, it was just too late. Like, I already felt a baby's head coming out, and I felt the pressure and I just couldn't hold back, and baby A came out, which was my little boy, Carter Noah Montez. And literally the whole room just looked at me and was quiet, and I knew something was wrong. And they said, "I'm so sorry, Molly. Your baby doesn't have a heartbeat." And that for me was the hardest thing to go through. All these things are going through my head, like, what's going on? Why am I going in labor? it was so hard. So then right after that, they're like, well, we got to check on the second baby. So they hurry up and, they remove the other baby. And they didn't let me see him or anything yet. And they're like, we have to check for the second heartbeat. So they came over and they saw a second heartbeat, and it was they told me it was the girl, and she had a strong heartbeat, and they're like, if you want to save her, we have to do a C-section because she's breech, and we have no time to wait for try to turn her around or anything like that. If you want to save her, you have to get a C-section now. And the doctor's like, there's only a 20 to 30% chance of her surviving. What do you want to do? And all these things are running through my head. I just lost a baby, and I'm alone because Renzo was with the kids, and he has no idea what's going on yet because he was still at work. He came home, and it was just sucky being alone. And I just didn't know what was going on. One thing just happened. They're asking me another question. I'm like, do whatever you can to save my baby. So they immediately started putting the hairnet on my hair and rushed me over to the surgical room, put it was like an epidural in my back and numbed everything from my waist below, and just started operating on me literally right away. They barely talked to me, to be honest. Not saying they weren't great. They were just very fast and wanted to try to save this baby. So the operation went well, and that's when Melida was born, and they said she was doing good, she was strong, and they brought her right up to the NICU, and they, closed me back up and put me into this recovery room. It wasn't a hospital room, it was just a recovery room. And I'm waiting and waiting for someone to show up, someone, Renzo, my mom, somebody please just come and cover me, because I am emotionally drained and I just needed support. So, Renzo finally came, my husband finally came, and then they asked me if I wanted to see BBA, who didn't make it. And I was like, of course, I want to hold him and stuff. And oh my goodness, guys, that was the hardest thing ever. The hardest thing ever is just holding your baby who is completely lifeless. And each day while I was in the hospital, I held him, because you can with my hospital, they gave me that option to hold him if I want to, and I held him up to each day, and I visited Melida as much strength as I, had. Because Renzo couldn't stay overnight and stuff, I was basically alone the whole time I was in the hospital, so I just went up there by myself in the NICU and took as much strength as I could to visit my baby girl, and held Carter every second I could get, and I even took a nap with him. And today I handled the funeral preparation and stuff for him, which we're not doing anything big, but I just would have rather keep that private. I really don't want to talk about that, but that's handled for him. And for Melida, she is fighting so strong. I actually have a GoFundMe page for her, which I'll link down below, if you guys can please go and support for her, because she is a fighter, and all the doctors and nurses say so. And I'm just praying and hoping that she makes it through and that she's okay, because I really just want her to be okay and be all right and just make it through everything. Each day they say she's getting better. I mean, from just seeing her a couple pictures ago to seeing her now, her skin is totally different. It was like more translucent in the beginning. Now it's starting to like more thicken more. And when I go to visit her, she hears my voice. The nurse says she hears my voice. Because like when I talk to her, she like tries to open her eyes, and she like moves her hand, and I get to hold her fingers and stuff. So it's actually, really cool. She is doing really, really good, and she is really, really strong. So, I'm just putting all my strength and prayer into her, and it sucks that her brother couldn't be there with her, but I know that he's going to give her as much strength as she needs to get through and make it and be okay. So I hope my story can help anyone who's going through the same thing and help them, or if anyone wants to give me some support who's gone through it, because I've seen like preemies from 20 weeks, 21 weeks, all these different weeks, and they come out to beautiful kids, and that is what I'm hoping for Melida, and I just want her to be a strong little girl. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support, and I couldn't ask for a better support system. So I will keep you updated with how she is doing and how everything is going, and I will see you shortly. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.